My wife accidentally left her phone at home. During her commute, I noticed it was receiving texts every 10 minutes. Worried it might be something urgent, I checked and saw messages starting with an emoji. Good morning, then with a crying face. Huh, no reply, and with a sad face. Hurry up. It turned out they were from her boss, along with some lovey-dovey selfies. I found a locked folder on her phone, managed to peek inside, and was shocked. My wife had gone to work wearing a garter belt, something I never knew about. She always leaves early for her 9 a.m. start, claiming she's busy in the mornings. I thought she was just being diligent. Now I'm not sure what to do. I have a business trip this afternoon and I'm really not looking forward to it now. I decided to stop by a detective agency I've used before. They once helped me track down someone involved in a hit and run. I haven't heard from my wife yet, so I'll take her phone with me. But I've also decided to take the day off and explain the situation at work. The trip was actually for a business golf outing, and I'm not that great at golf anyway. My boss, who has been through a divorce due to his wife's infidelity, sympathized with me. I broke down for the first time during this ordeal. I was stunned when I saw the phone. Following my boss's advice, I took a picture of the incriminating messages on my wife's phone alongside today's newspaper to timestamp the evidence. I'm 38, my wife is 32, we have a 1-year-old child and have been married for 4 years. She just returned to work from maternity leave this April. Since her return, our marriage has been lacking intimacy. It seems she's been finding satisfaction elsewhere. The timestamps on the pictures indicate this affair started right after she returned from maternity leave. It's like she's not even my wife anymore. I've finished discussing things with the detective agency and will put her phone back like nothing happened. They gave me some bugs and cameras to set up at home in case her lover comes over. I'll start tailing her after work and see where that leads. The man is already known and the detective agency is truly professional. The detective also found other images in a different folder on her phone, which were sent almost every morning by this man. Why would she even lock and save something like this? I'm moving forward with a divorce. A lawyer recommended by the agency is helping me. With this much evidence, we're aiming for a quick resolution. I'll stay at a nearby hotel and prepare for what's next. Now I even wonder if my child is really mine. We all have type A blood. The child looks like my wife. I always thought it was natural for him to resemble my wife, since he's our son. I'll think more about this later. I've just arrived at the hotel. I'll meet with the lawyer around 5:30 p.m. to discuss further steps. Even though I'm not in the best state of mind, we need to decide on a course of action, especially since a confrontation might happen today. The detective just called me. My wife is heading to the daycare with the man. They're a bit apart, but going in the same direction. She's walking with a swaying motion, probably signaling directions. She has a habit of using her hips to point, like when she asks to fetch something, she'd sway her hips. I used to find it cute, but now it just seems creepy. I've decided to get a DNA test for the child, regardless of what my wife says. My child always cries when I hold him, so I have no attachment in terms of custody. I've learned in parenting classes, so it's not a matter of how I hold him. If the DNA test shows he's mine, I wonder if I'll have to pay child support. I'd rather pay it all at once if I have to. And I plan to take a hefty sum from my wife and her lover for this mess. The meeting with the lawyer is over. We've decided to pursue alimony, especially if the DNA test proves the child isn't mine. The detective agency is keeping me updated. We've decided to go ahead with the surprise visit. My wife left the daycare and, oddly enough, dropped our child off at her parents' place. Now she's at our home having dinner with the guy. We know they won't be leaving the place soon, so we're planning to burst in as soon as we have solid proof. I can't help but feel a bit excited about all this. The place is in my name, and if they've been using it for their trysts, I'll sell it immediately. Also, I plan to have the lawyer handle various things, including selling the condo I bought for her parents, who I brought in from the countryside. I can't even think about living in such a place. According to the detective, the guy seemed quite familiar with unlocking our home. Seems like he's been over a few times. My lawyer and I are almost having too much fun with this. even joking about adding another $10,000 to the lawsuit. I'm weirdly upbeat right now, but I don't plan on getting violent no matter what happens. I may be excited, but dealing with them would only dirty my hands. It feels more like the detectives and my lawyer are the ones getting carried away. They must think I'm a big client or something. The team storming my home includes 4 detectives and me. There's a chance my wife's family is in on it, so I checked if my parents could come. My dad isn't back yet, but my mom is furious and has decided to come along with my sister. My younger sister adores her big brother. She's pretty fired up about all this. With everyone so hyped up, I feel like I'm looking at everything from an outsider's perspective. My life is turned upside down in just one day. My boss is excited too. When I updated him, he said I'll join the raid. The more witnesses, the better. It's becoming like a big event. They're apparently in the laundry room, getting all lovey-dovey, and we're about to converge on them. The detective agency is amazing. Their prediction that they're probably at our home was spot on. The plan is to surprise them right after their bath. Then we'll all take pictures as evidence. We've got evidence of the affair, so the plan is to proceed through the lawyer. This raid is just for securing proof, like an extra show. I'm going to enjoy this festival. Right now, they're fooling around in the expensive jacuzzi I splurged on when we bought the place. It makes me want to demand even more in damages. Technology can be so cruel. The detectives are live streaming everything to me. My sister just arrived at the meeting place and said, "I've got firecrackers." Wait, why does she have those? My boss is excitedly waiting and my parents are in a state of confusion. Alright, it's time to raid. No matter what happens, I'm going full speed ahead with the divorce and alimony. The raid ended quickly. I opened the door while they were in the middle of it, and in their confusion, we all took pictures. My sister was getting overly excited. You probably have a lot to say, but from now on, please contact this lawyer, I said, leaving the lawyer's business card behind. Now, oddly enough, we're having a celebration. The detective team, consisting of my boss, my sister, and even my dad, who decided to join in without fully understanding the situation, gathered together. My sister, who is known for her high-spirited nature, was laughing about the hidden cameras and microphones we had set up inside the home. Meanwhile, my wife and her lover were in the midst of a dramatic scene, but I was completely over it. The most difficult part was dealing with the nosy neighbors who came out to see what was happening, spreading gossip. However, I have no intention of going back now. I am planning to demand over 6 figures in damages from both my wife and her lover, and with the value of our home included, it may even exceed that for my wife. The detective agency is an acquaintance of mine, so I will let them handle the investigation. The aftermath for the remaining 2 individuals was intense, and the man left in a bad mood, threatening to take the matter to court and win. But I would welcome today's events being part of the public trial record. Left alone at home, my wife seems to be frantically searching for something. Through the video camera, I can see that she is desperately looking for something. However, she won't find the hidden cameras or bugs as they are placed in unexpected locations. If she tries to negotiate for a lower settlement, I will immediately take legal action. I hold a position of power in her workplace, and I can easily end all business dealings with her lover's company. I am not sure what leverage he thinks he has, but if he tries anything, I am prepared for a mutual downfall. All real estate assets are in my name, as I learned from a past burglary, and now keep them in a bank safe deposit box. My wife's parents have been calling non-stop, but I have turned off my phone for the day. Annoying. On Friday, I visited my wife's company with my lawyer and requested a meeting with her lover, but it was denied. So we arranged a meeting through the headquarters. When asked about the start of their affair, he couldn't give a straight answer. As expected, we left him alone and sent a certified letter to his home for delivery on Monday. My wife seems to have gone back to her parents, so I have started the process of selling both our current home and the one we lived in before. As a courtesy, my lawyer will notify them to move out by next month. Any interference would be obstructing business operations, which could affect the smooth sale of the properties. I have no desire to meet my wife directly, so I have entrusted my lawyer to handle Friday's discussion. Turns out the child might not be mine. She became evasive when I brought up DNA testing and couldn't talk much. It seems their affair started after our marriage and lasted for years. You've become more attractive since getting married. She mistook the words as a compliment, not harassment. Now realizing she can't contact me directly, my wife's parents apparently stormed my parents' place. My sister who lives there and her husband are handling it, but they're just saying, talk through the lawyer. My mother is furious, saying, I always knew that daughter-in-law was like that. Her family lacks common sense. The guy is accusing us of defamation and obstruction of business for storming his company. But we explained everything through his HR department, and it was an official business meeting. We're pushing for double the alimony. Mediation is likely to fail, so we might go straight to court. When I told him, if visiting your workplace is defamation, I'll visit your home, he begged us not to do that. My wife just cries when she talks, screams when I propose something, and goes into a rage when I bring up the child. Meanwhile, her parents are in the background saying, our daughter did nothing wrong, and the child is yours. Making any discussion impossible, we'll talk when things settle down. My wife's parents have always belittled me. They never paid their taxes properly and started collecting Social Security as soon as they turned 60, receiving less than $1,000 a month combined. I ended up paying for most of their living expenses, and they would always come to me for money. I never expected it to go this far. They seem to want me to reconsider. But I feel they should reflect on their past behavior first. The lawsuit might not yield much from the guy, so even if I win, I might have to compromise on the amount. This might end up being just a moral victory for me. That guy is currently looking for a lawyer. The first place he visited this morning was the law firm I hired. Despite having their business card, he went to the closest law firm to his company. He hesitated to enter, and when my lawyer arrived and spoke to him, he acted suspiciously, fell down the stairs, and threatened to sue. No problem, we have witnesses. The content certification arrived at the man's place. His wife came to the office with it in the afternoon, after being scolded by my lawyer. My lawyer opened the door without permission, and she was sent away. It seems like another case has just popped up at the office, but it looks like it will be resolved quickly. The man's wife is from a previous marriage, and some of the children are from his previous relationship. I believe she will put an end to him quickly. It's interesting that the oldest child is almost at the age where child support won't be needed anymore. My wife's parents showed up at my parents' place during the day, pretending to cough. Can't they find a place to live at least? But they were told that it's not our property. Why don't they talk to the lawyer? And they were sent away. After the door closed, they reportedly left energetically, spewing insults. My wife finally agreed to meet with the lawyer. She plans to resign from her job at the end of this month and hopes for a reconciliation. She refuses to sign for a DNA test, and since she'll be unemployed, she wants her parents' place to not be sold until the end of this year. During a lunch break today, there will be another meeting. When asked by the lawyer about my thoughts, I said reconciliation? Absolutely not. If she won't agree to a DNA test, then double the alimony. Custody? I don't want it. Child support? What's that? Her parents' place has viewing requests for this weekend, so they better move out quickly. I also made sure the lawyer warned them about additional charges for obstructing the viewing. Since yesterday, her lover has gone missing. He was last seen in front of the law firm and hasn't shown up for work or gone home. People are asking if I know his whereabouts, but what can I say? As for my wife, things are somewhat settled. In the end, she revealed the truth about the child. So, I am not obligated to pay child support. It was either double the alimony or tell the truth, and she chose the cheaper option in the short term. Ironically, the child turned out to be another man's, so ultimately she will pay double alimony and receive no child support. Regarding the home, we have agreed that she will move out this week to a new place. It's amazing what you can find. A rundown basement with no private bathroom. It's a bit far and inconvenient, so hopefully that will reduce the number of times they come to my parents' home. Today, I'm going to file the divorce papers, and complete the formalities to end the marriage. Then I will be moving to my new place. Can't settle in a hotel forever. The matter of the child requires a court case, which I've left entirely to the lawyer. All expenses on her. We'll probably end up doing a DNA test. My wife saved up quite a bit since she kept working after our marriage. The lawyer on my behalf has already started dividing the assets, but it looks like it'll all go to the confrontation with her lover's wife and the child custody case. Lawyers can be intimidating. I wouldn't want them as enemies. With no job, having to take care of her parents and child, and paying alimony, my wife's life is going to be quite challenging. Plus, the new place she's moving to has been scheduled for demolition next year, as per the landlord's plans. The real estate agent who brokered the deal is a friend of mine from middle school, so he enthusiastically found the worst possible place. By next year, she'll probably be financially struggling. Well, it's none of my business anymore. Arriving at my new home, I suddenly realized, wow, my life has really changed. Today was supposed to be a direct confrontation with her lover, but since my wife spilled everything, it was pretty much a surrender. His wife is providing key testimony, saying, I suspected something was off with them even before their marriage. So I'm expecting another round of compensation from my ex-wife. From the moment I discovered the affair, everything spiraled, and with great support and encouragement from those around me, I feel like I've done everything I could without any regrets. It's incredibly deceitful and disrespectful to try and make me take care of another man's child for life. Well, considering the kind of parents she has, it's no surprise she grew up without common sense. I'm somewhat curious to see how the child will turn out. Hopefully they can use their parents as a negative example and grow up to be decent individuals.